Welcome to a special Week 5 edition of Pigskin Postweek as we pass the 1/3 point of this year's season.
Hey, bettors! Gambling's now legal in every state except the lame ones. But in the sport of sports betting, you gotta sport bet responsibly. So remember to follow these 3 rules. Stick with the game plan, unless you're down a lot at halftime.
If you suffer from gambling addiction, wait until the season is over and then call 1-800-LOST-AGAIN. 1-800-CAN'T-WIN if you don't play. 1-800-STILL-SAVE with crypto. 1-800-COLLEGE is overrated. 1-800 when you think about it all, life is a gamble. 1-800-VEGAS is for families now. 1-800-CHICAN 1-800-LAKERS.
Thursday Night Football featured an NFC South battle between Atlanta and Tampa Bay as the 0-4 Valor Magoulas takes on the 3-1 Christian Mingle. Mike Evans is at it again as he's been feasting in the end zone, gathering 2 touchdowns on 5 catches for 62 yards. Kyler Murray puts up over 24 as he scores 2 touchdowns with a pick on 195 yards, and the 17-point Denver Broncos score defensively via Patrick Surtain, who returns 1 of 2 interceptions end zone to end zone for a 100-yard pick 6. Mingle gets another solid start out of Geno Smith, who scores 22.5 with 284 yards through the air and 1 touchdown. James Cook also reaches pay dirt with 82 yards on 20 carries for almost 17 points. Alvin Kamara has a pedestrian night, putting up only 26 yards rushing, scoring 9.6, but it was enough to saddle Magoulas with his 5th straight loss, 114 to 110. Playoff hopes for Valor Magoulas have gone up in smoke as he now sits at only a 14% chance to clinch a spot. Another squad currently sitting with 0 wins in 4 contests is Milwaukee Bears as he faces the Flagget. The Bears finally finds momentum as Joe Burrow throws for 392 yards and 5 touchdowns, scoring just shy of 35. Pair that up with Jamar Chase, who's on the receiving end of 192 of those yards and 2 of the touchdowns for over 37 points, as the Bengals still fall to the Ravens in overtime, 38 to 41. Also a late addition to fill a bye, Rashawn Johnson scores twice on only 25 yards rushing for 14.5. Baker Mayfield scores over 23 for the Flagget with 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. DeAndre Swift is literally fighting for his job as he scores 19 with back-to-back boom weeks with 120 all-purpose yards and 1 trip to the end zone. Kareem Hunt finally breaks the 100-yard rushing mark this year with over 19 on 27 attempts and a touchdown. All hope was lost for Robert as he was riding from behind Mike's season high and loses 123 to 141. Mike now sits at 1-4 and wins the $20 payout for most team touchdowns. Neither Pollard Express or Preakness Pie cracked the century mark this week as Brian Thomas Jr. for Darren is the high scorer in this matchup, netting nearly 22 points on 5 receptions for 122 yards and a tutty. Alan Lazard also crosses the goal line on 4 catches for 34 yards, scoring 11.4. And Jaden Daniels keeps on cruising for the Commanders as they win again against the Browns. Daniels falls just shy of 20 with 82 yards rushing and 238 with a touchdown passing. Preakness has all average showings, including another dud from star quarterback Josh Allen, who only tosses for 131 yards and 1 TD for less than 15. Travis Kelce catches 9 of 10 for 70 yards for 11.5, and Javonte Williams for Denver accumulates 111 all-purpose yards for 13.6, falling short 82 to 92 as both sit at 3-2 heading into Week 6. Steel Reserve squares off on Worthy of Some Head, looking for a 3rd straight win. Ethan's quarterback paved the way once again as Lamar Jackson throws for almost 350 yards, tossing 4 touchdowns for just under 35 points. Nico Collins was headed for another boom with 2 receptions for 78 yards and a touchdown, scoring 14.8 before leaving the game with a hamstring injury. Live from London, his Vikings defense also had a day as they score on the Jets this week, putting up 20 points with 3 interceptions, 1 for 6 on Aaron Rodgers, and 3 sacks as they take down the Jets. Steele definitely had work to do as Aaron Jones only puts up 5.8 as he leaves the game with a hip injury. Garrett Wilson shows up to pick up the slack with 13 receptions on 23 targets for 101 yards and a touchdown, scoring 23.6. Later in the afternoon in Los Angeles, tight end Tucker Kraft, a waiver addition for Steele, has 4 catches for 88 yards and crosses the goal line twice for almost 23 as the Packers were without both Dobbs and Watson this week. Justin Fields throws for a measly 131, netting Jake the $10 payout for least quarterback yards via the defensive tiebreaker as he wins 3 in a row, 125 to 115. The final game of the week was a doozy as the only left unbeaten Judge Judy meets the 1-3 Zach's Honorable. Well, please rise as the Honorable Judge begins their proceedings. A couple of wideouts for Judy came to ball this week as T. Higgins snags in 9 for 83 yards, scoring 2 touchdowns for nearly 25. And DJ Moore also finds pay dirt twice on 5 receptions for 105 yards, putting up 26. On the opposite end, Zay Flowers puts up 7 for 111, scoring 16.5 for Zach. And Brock Bowers corrals 8 for 97 yards, reaching the end zone for 19.7. This match all came down to Sunday night, both with a player each from the Cowboys, Zach's Rico Dowdle and Judy's Jake Ferguson. This was going back and forth all game as Ferguson catches 6 for 70 for 10 points, as Zach was right on Austin's tail. It came down to the final drive for Dallas, with Rico scoring 18.4 with 114 all-purpose yards and a receiving touchdown. Zach saddles Judge Judy with his first loss of the season by 6 yards. One more reception for Ferguson instead of Tolbert would have flipped this outcome, as Austin falls 121.97 to 122.58. Zach improves to 2-3, leaving Austin still atop the standings at 4-1. Tune in next week for scores, stats, highlights, and more with Pigskin Postweek.